Greetings. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Through the Storm, a show about finding hope in God while weathering the storms of life. My name is Chantelle Johnson, and I'll be your host for this show today. And I have a very special guest for you, Miss Angie Hodges, who is with us. She's a multifaceted young woman. And we are continuing this show. It's kind of continuing from our show last week where we spoke about the courage to live your dreams in 2018, no matter what. Now, the Bible tells us that without a vision, the people perish. And in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 2, it states that we should write the vision and make it plain. And Miss Angie knows a lot about vision and the need for having a sense of purpose in life. And she's going to be sharing a lot of her wisdom with us. And I think you're in for a treat. So Miss Angie, and I also would like to just introduce her book. She's also an author.
Yes, thank you, Chantelle, for inviting me here. It's a great opportunity. I'm looking forward to speaking to your listeners today and your viewers. The name of my book is Live Your Best Life, Answer the Call. And that's exactly part of basically what a vision board is about, because in a person's motivation to want to live their best life and to improve the life that they're currently living. But yes, this is a book that I co-authored with my coach and mentor, Dr. Ruben West, and some of my other co-authors as well earlier this year. And it's a great read. It is a story about triumph. It is stories about courage. And each person, there's 10 authors, has a different story. And I know that there is a story in here that will resonate with someone that you know, because these are everyday people that have overcome different situations. Okay. And in this book, I also talk about vision boards.
All right.
But basically, I talk about the different trials that I went through and the forms of self-development, the tools of self-development that I use, and vision boards is one of them.
Okay, that is awesome. Because as you know, Through the Storm, that's what this show is about. This show is about trying to help people to find some hope when they're going through different trials of life. And it sounds like this book is full of similar stories and testimonies about just that.
Yes, definitely some great testimonies. And then we also have an audio, Live Your Best Life, Answer the Call audio that you can just pop in for some additional motivation on your way to work, and just a nice way to, start your day off.
Okay. Well, that is awesome. Well, so you kind of hit on a few things that I would like for you to cover.
Okay.
And I hope we can cover it all in, the few minutes that we have. So you're here. One of the things that I know you were going to talk about are the vision boards. And the beginning of the year is a time where we often are talking about, our New Year's resolutions. And we come up with a lot of things and ideas that we want to do for the rest of the year. And sometimes it's kind of hard to maintain that for the continuation of the year. So could you tell us a little bit about your project that you do with vision boards?
Yes, my vision board workshops, a lot of people call them parties, and some people have parties, but I have workshops because we work.
Okay.
It's fun work, but we work. Because what had happened is that I'd heard from a lot of people that they went to vision board workshops, and then they said, you know what, it was a lot of fun. But when I left, I really didn't know where to get started. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So it's like they had this pretty piece of artwork decorating their wall, or maybe after a period of time that went into their closet, but they didn't know how to get started. Or then you hear all the time on the media that people are using them and that it's working for them, and they were wondering, well, why isn't it working for me?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I started to do some research, because I had probably like about 5 or 6 of them too, and it was like after a while, I'm like, why isn't it working?
Right.
And I realized it wasn't that it wasn't working, it was that I wasn't working.
Okay. Okay.
And so Habakkuk 2 is a foundational principle, because it says, write the vision and make it plain. And that's a great place to start. That's just it. It's a start. And there's some people that need permission to do that, just to be able to dream and to see themselves outside of their current circumstances. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I can identify. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I went through a divorce after 15 years of marriage. And I didn't see myself initially outside of my, being somebody's wife or somebody's mother.
The roles.
Yes. And vision boards gave me permission to see, you know what, God has given me some gifts and some talents that he wants me to share. Mm-hmm. And there's probably somebody here that might be at that point that they just need to be able to see themselves in a different light. Right. And that's a great start as far as your vision board. Mm-hmm. But then there's another scripture that I take it to the next place, and that's James 2:14, and that says faith without works is dead. So then we get to the point that we're going to have to do some action. So that's great that you start with the vision board. And for those of you that don't know, that means usually in most cases you're getting a poster board, putting pictures and words, or even you can draw on there things that resonate with you, things that speak to your life, things that, I just tell people, when you're cutting and looking through things, what speaks to you? You can do it in a way that you segment it, or you can just say, you know what, we're going to do this just based on family, or we're just going to do this based on my career, or maybe, you know what, right now I'm at a place that I really want to improve my fitness. I'm just going to do this board based on fitness.
Okay.
Or you can do a more holistic approach and do your relationships, yourself, your family, your spirituality, your health. You can just do a holistic board that has some of everything on it.
Okay.
But right now, where I'm at is a different place. And now I use the holistic approach. People can do whatever they want in my workshops. I don't, tell them the different things, but they can do it however they want to do it. But right now, I provide the attendees with a form.
Okay.
And I say that out of all those different pictures that you put on that board, I'd like you to do some deeper work with at least 3 items.
Okay.
And so what that is, this form says, what is your goal? It says your goal. So you would put whatever your goal is. So let's say if it was a home purchase.
Okay.
And then I say, list the action steps.
Okay.
Meet with the lender. Run your credit. See how much of a home you can afford.
Okay.
Do you need any corrections? Get a realtor.
Okay.
Determine your neighborhood. Maybe you need to save some money. Maybe you need to pay off some things. So that next step is about writing all those action steps, because I think that's where people fall off with the vision board.
I think so too.
They left there and they had these pictures on here, but they didn't think about all the steps
involved to get there.
So this form that I give them is what they can write down those steps, because then you can check those things off. And before you know it, you're moving right on along.
Oh, okay. So the vision board, normally a lot of times people are more accustomed to just taking a collection of different pictures that they want to do or they want to accomplish and putting them on the board. But the steps, a lot of time I think that's left off.
Yes. And then there's a next layer that I've added on there as well. And that goes to Proverbs 27:7. It's 27:7 or 27:17. And that is iron sharpens iron. And that next step is about staying the distance.
Okay.
So in staying the distance, that means when you get this vision board home, are you just going to, oh, this was nice, and sit it down? But you need to be reviewing it daily.
Okay.
You need to be praying over these things and asking God to bring these things into your life. And then seeking strategy and Him to put you in connection with right people that are going to hold you accountable.
Okay.
So that's the staying the distance. So now that I've picked these 3 items, that I've wrote all the steps of how I'm going to achieve them, what is my next level as to how I'm going to stay accountable to these items?
Okay. And how do you suggest people do that?
That could be some of the things I said, like reviewing.
Okay.
It could be getting an accountability partner.
Okay.
It could be going to therapy, getting some additional help. It could be meeting with your pastor. So depending on what that item is, maybe if it was health, maybe it could be, I'm going to get me a personal trainer.
Okay.
So that's that next layer. So basically what I'm doing is trying to stack it for success.
And let me ask, so the form that you give them, would they put that on the vision board?
Yes.
Okay. So they would put it on there when they're creating it?
Yes.
Okay. And as they're going along throughout the year and reviewing it and being held accountable, are the vision boards something that can be kind of grown or scaled up? Would they be able to add on to it?
Yes, and you could even, and I also do coaching too, because you can go beyond that, because it's only so big of of this form. This form isn't real huge.
Okay.
So there are going to be some people that are going to want to dig deeper. And I do coaching and I can work with people, or they can go to somebody else, or they could go to their therapist and say, these are some things that I identified that I want to work on, and I need your help to how to get me there. But this, I feel like when people are leaving, they're leaving more what I call a life optimization strategy, or they're leaving with a roadmap versus you just leaving with a pretty picture.
Right. That is awesome. Oh yeah, that's a vision board gone wild. Yeah, that is very awesome. And do people normally just have one vision board, or might they have different ones? And they kind of touched on it a little bit.
Yeah, it's just really up to that person. I mean, if you're like me, you have like, excuse me, you have about 6 or 7. But, you know, you could, I mean, most people, if you have one, or maybe it just comes to a period of your life, like say for instance, I could see people as maybe you become empty nesters or something, that maybe you all need to reevaluate. And I even suggest that people can have a couple's vision board. Everybody has their own individual goals, but then sometimes along in a marriage, I believe you need goals as a couple. You need goals as a family.
And that was one thing when I heard you speak about the vision boards before that really stood out to me, because a lot of times when we do them, we may do them as individuals, but we can do them, you know, with our husband, wife, family members, co-workers. You could do it in different settings and have visions for different parts of your life.
Yes.
Which is pretty awesome. Okay.
Yes, it is.
And so once you mentioned that some of the vision boards that you have, you kind of frame them. Is there a purpose or reason for that, or what is your thoughts behind framing them?
Well, I just framed them because they look nice, and because a lot of times when I go and do workshops, I'll bring mine, and I didn't want them to get all rough around the edges. But yeah, that makes it look nice. You know, just to put it like a piece of artwork in your house.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit briefly about your vision board parties?
Yes, these are pop-up vision board parties. I came up with that idea is that, you know what, as we become adults, as we are adults, sometimes we get in this rut of doing the same old things. We're going to go to the movies. We're going to go out to eat. And I was like, what about some pop-up workshops? I like doing workshops. What if people just got their friends together, got some snacks, and I came and hosted the workshop?
Okay.
And then it was like, why limit it to, it was just going to be like girls' night out. And then it was like, why not do mixed groups? Why not do couples? Why not do families? Why not do businesses?
Okay.
So it's like, it's very low-key, low maintenance, because basically I'm coming and providing the supplies and basically hosting whatever and facilitating whatever we're doing.
Okay. And how could someone reach you if they wanted to set up one of the pop-up vision board parties?
They can reach me on Facebook. My Facebook page is the letter B and then Fabulous 001. On Instagram, it is the letter B, Fabulous 01.
Okay. All right. That is awesome. And when people come to the vision board parties, I know that there's some things that you supply. Do they need to bring anything with them?
You know what? In some instances, people have special mementos, some things that are special to them. Maybe they want to bring pictures of their families, or maybe they are into skydiving and I don't have skydiving books, or maybe they're into some special interest that they want to bring that along. So yes, if they have, I had one lady that she had really just thought about some things that she wanted to put together, and she just, you know, so there are some people that have put in a lot of thought and they have pre-planned about what they came to do and what they want.
Okay.
And then that's fine. But if they don't, then I definitely have supplies available.
Okay. All right. That is awesome. And we're just going to take a little bit of a break. And we're going to come back in a few minutes with more from Miss Angie Hodges. Hi, and we're back with Through the Storm, a show about finding hope in God while weathering the storms of life. And we're here with our very special and beautiful, fabulous guest, Miss Angie B. Hodges, who is and I'm going to try to remember all of the things that you are. She's a vision board specialist. She does pop-up vision board workshops. She's an author, a motivational speaker, a coach, and I think I left one off.
That's okay. Yeah, workshop facilitator. So same thing, vision board specialist, but yeah, workshop facilitator.
I made one up. Okay. And thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much for sharing about your work in the vision boards and how you put those together. These are vision boards that go to the next level, that include a little bit more steps to help people to accomplish those things.
Yeah, and this is really about, I mean, just like my book is about live your best life. I mean, really, that's really, I believe God's given me my purpose is to help other people to live their best life.
Absolutely.
Because there are so many dreams. That's, to me, that's the worst thing, is for your dreams to die with you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And there are so many people that are carrying gifts and things that other people's needs. And that's one thing that I didn't realize until later on in life. Most of us think that our gifts are about us.
Right.
Our gifts are not about us. And that is a struggle to realize that there is somebody else that needs what you do. There is somebody that needs that product. There's somebody that needs that service. There's somebody that needs that business that only you do the way you do.
Very well said.
And so that is really, for me, my purpose. And that brings me joy to see other people that discover that.
Amen. Amen. And I want to show your book again in case anybody missed it from before. It's called Live Your Best Life, Answer the Call. And this is a collection of works by different authors.
Yes.
Okay. And are they also motivational speakers and coaches as well?
Yes, everybody is motivational speakers and coaches.
Okay. So y'all see that. You can get it. And where can they find the book? Where can they get it?
They can contact me, and I will send them a link, and they can go ahead and order it that way. If they reach out to me again on Facebook, that is B Fabulous 001, the letter B Fabulous 001, or on Instagram, the letter B Fabulous 01. And also I can give my phone number, and that's area code 815-528-8767.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I would like to go back to your book and kind of ask you, if you'd like to share anything that you've written in your book or a part of your story. Because one of the reasons for this show is for people, for our listening audience to know that when you're going through the different challenges or trials or tribulation of life, that your life doesn't stop there. It doesn't have to stop there. And, God has put that sense of purpose in all of us. And sometimes when we're going through storms, it can, cause a person to get stuck in life. But you spoke, very passionately about what you do and the fact that those gifts and talents that are in us are not just for us, but they are for other people, which is very motivating in itself to be able to hear that. So if you don't mind sharing a little bit, whatever's on your heart from your book, from your personal testimony, to encourage our listeners.
Okay. Well, really my book is about recreating and redefining your life. There comes a point in many people's lives, especially when you get in that 30-plus age, where you have to kind of reevaluate where you are, where you've been, and where you want to go. And that redefining our lives, I mean, most of us won't continue to do the same thing. Most people don't even have the same careers. I mean, the age of keeping the same career forever is not even, I mean, we have to recreate and redefine ourselves all the time. And there's some people that get stuck in that place. And that's what my story is about. It is about recreating and redefining myself. And I got into a place where through my divorce, mine just happened to be my divorce, where it's like, okay, how do I recreate this new woman? Who is she? And just to motivate other people that, just because what you might have planned, and that's the problem. A lot of times it's about the life that we've planned. And Joseph Campbell says that we must be willing to give up the life we planned as to have the one that is waiting for us. And many of us are holding on tight, don't want to let go of that one that we planned. And I was that stay-at-home mom, living in the suburbs, didn't have to work. And that was a nice life to hold on to.
Sounds like it.
My kids had only lived in new houses. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to give all this up? So, but that is what I believe that speaks to us, and even, that we have to be willing sometimes to shut one door because God has something else out there. And that's a scary place for many people.
It is. And what was that like for you, like in that moment, like when you realized like my life is about to change and the life of my children is about to change?
It was, I would say, something that happened just over a period of time. I think that when I made up my mind, I was good with this decision that I have made.
Okay. You were ready.
I was ready.
Okay.
I was ready.
And what are some things that you did, I guess, to prepare yourself, for making that transition?
I did a lot of affirmations. I had affirmations posted around my house telling myself who I was, who God says I was. I had scriptures posted on cabinets, kitchen cabinets, doors. And then self-care. I think sometimes when you're a giver and that's just your nature to give, sometimes you can begin to neglect yourself. That means keeping up on those doctor's appointments, eating right, because sometimes we can let all that stuff go to the wayside when you're going through a situation.
Right.
And keeping a good network.
Okay.
I've had some beautiful older women in my life that have held on to me. You know, and sometimes God sends you not the people whose family you were born into, but some people that just kind of adopt you along the way.
That's so true.
To hold you up. So that was a blessing.
Okay. And that is an awesome blessing. So it sounds like, going through that transition, you had some time to kind of think about it, plan for it, and just kind of do some self-talk and have your affirmations and kind of, just begin to create the life that you wanted to have.
Exactly. And that's what it was. It's about, and that's about my whole thing, the Be Fabulous. People are like, well, what is she saying, talking about Be Fabulous? That's what I'm encouraging people to do, is decide to be fabulous. You know what? Your life might not be perfect. Sometimes your life might be a hot mess. But decide to be fabulous and go about creating the life you love. It's not about a place of conceit, like it's just a place of, just decide now, whatever comes, this is just what I'm going to be. This is it.
Amen.
And there's somebody here watching today that knows that God has given them a dream. He's given them a plan, something that they're supposed to do, but they're waiting because their life is not perfect. They're waiting because everything has not lined up from point A to Z. Sometimes when God gives it to you, you think that you're waiting on him, but he's waiting on you. We think that we have to have everything together to move forward with the plan.
Right.
And I would say a lot of times people would say to me, well, you're doing all these different things. Life must be wonderful. Life is wonderful, not because in reality that it might be. It was about the way my mental state was about it.
Right.
What many people don't know is that I have been in more courtrooms than many criminals. I've been in the court system for 7 years.
Wow.
And that is due to a 3.5-year divorce and then what's called a 4-year post-divorce.
Wow.
So I was going to count it up. I want to say probably about a good maybe 40 times.
Wow.
And people would say, well, but you're doing all these things. No, it's about the decisions that you make.
Right.
And when you are obedient, when you continue to do what God has given you to do, regardless of what your situation is, regardless of what you're going through, he will bless you beyond measure.
He sure will.
He will bless you beyond measure. So I don't know who today is waiting for everything to line up. And your title of your show is just perfect. It's about learning to dance in the storms. But sometimes you got to learn how to dance in the storms, dance in a hurricane, dance in a typhoon, dance in an earthquake, dance in a...
Absolutely.
So when you can do that, that's when you're showing him. That's when he gives you a case for. That's when he elevates you. That when you show him that you can remain stable, that you can remain faithful in spite of whatever it is that you are dealing with.
Amen. And that is so true. And I love, how you phrase that. And I just got a good visual, dancing in the storm, the hurricane. Yeah, and that's absolutely what it is. It's about having faith. And faith is hope in what we don't see. It hasn't happened yet. You may not have all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed, but God can give you what you need to be able to move in the midst of the storm, hurricane, tsunami.
Yeah, you added another one there. Yes, it was a tsunami too.
Yes, absolutely. And I believe that somebody is definitely going to be encouraged to hear that, that wherever you are, if you're in a storm, you don't have to stay there. There's always hope.
Yeah, and we can find joy. We can find joy, and that's the beautiful thing. If we just focus on, what he is doing for us, instead of what's not there or what's not perfect, we can find joy even in that storm.
Yeah. I guess finding things to just have gratitude about in
Yes.
the moment, because no matter what's going on, you can always find something
Yes.
to be thankful for. Amen. You're like preaching. That is so awesome. And I wanted to have you share something from your book if you would like.
Okay. Let me see what I'd like to read. That would be amazing.
And are these like a collection of stories or?
Yes, they are stories. Each author has two chapters. One chapter is about whatever situation it was that they were dealing with, and the second chapter is about what they did to overcome that situation.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind sharing a little bit, we want y'all to buy the book and hear from all the authors.
I think I'm going to go ahead and read the chapter the same part that okay. This chapter is called Shine Bright. And it says, "You are a light, and when you shine bright. Unlike the weather outside, you choose how brightly you shine every day. Are you dreary and dismal? Do you have patches of light? Or do you turn it up and shine bright like the high sun on a clear day? See, every day is a blessing and an opportunity for you to be your highest self and live your best life. The world needs you and your contribution. Yes, you." And it was back to the weather. The weather must be the thing. So it's like the weather must be the thing for the day.
Amen. And I like that, shine bright. Yeah, when you're in the storm, you're looking for a little slither of light somewhere that you can kind of take a hold of and grab onto. And God has placed a light in all of us.
Yes, He has.
So you're kind of giving people permission to let that light within them shine bright.
Yes, and don't be overcome by the clouds.
Amen. 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 I love that. Thank you so much. That is just fabulous. And I love the name of your website, Be Fabulous. And like she said, Miss Hodges said, Miss Angie said, you don't need, anyone's permission to let your light shine. Wherever you are, whatever state that you're in, let it shine and let God do the rest. You take one step of faith and God will help you with the rest. Amen. That is awesome. And do you have any parting words that you would like to share with our listeners?
I would like to say that basically just to use this time of the year, like we talked about as far as the vision boards and creating a vision for your life, and just to dig deep and just ask yourself, what is it that God has for your purpose? And just to take the steps necessary to create your own reality and to be fabulous and to create the life you love.
Amen. Thank you so much, Angie, for being on the show. Thank you for just all of the inspiration that you've given us today and the motivation. Thank you for the information on the vision boards. That is awesome. That just takes it to a whole nother level, other than just a poster board with pictures. The part about adding the steps of how to get there and having accountability partners and people that can kind of support you in achieving that vision. And thank you for sharing your testimony as well.
And thank you for having me. It's been a wonderful experience.
Okay, thank you. And would you like to give one more time how the listeners can contact you?
On Facebook, the letter B, Fabulous001. On Instagram, the letter B, Fabulous01. And my number is 815-528-8767.
Thank you again. And thank you all for tuning in to another week of Through the Storm. My name is Chantelle Johnson, and I was your host for the evening and for the day. And thank you so much for being with us. We are on Tuesdays. The show airs on Tuesdays on the Wake Up Call Radio and TV network. And hope to see you again next